we're talking about the most overrated and underrated things in every land of Disney's Animal Kingdom. Hey everybody, we're back with another episode in this series where I take you around the different Disney parks and we talk about the most overrated and underrated thing in each land. We're sharing some snacks, some things maybe that you've skipped, and maybe things you don't want to wait a long time for. So I hope you're ready, I hope you're excited. It's gonna be wild. First land, the Oasis. Now a lot of people don't even realize that this is its very own land. This is the front of the park up through when you get towards the Tree of Life. So this is kind of this walkway area. There's a few animal exhibits. There's a horrifying nightmare to behold. But there's not a ton to pick from for overrated, underrated, but I think I made some good selections. The most overrated thing? The waking nightmare that is Divine. Yeah, you heard me. Divine is a stilt walker that is disguised as a plant. And she comes out of that gate right there, and then she stalks her prey standing here amongst the leaves, blending in. You think you're just walking past a nice little exhibit, but no! She comes out of nowhere, scares the bejesus out of you. Maybe I'm the only one that's scared of Divine, because I do have to admit she's pretty talented. I'm pretty blown away by her ability to lift her legs and arms very tall and blend in with the trees, but she's very scary. So, in a land where there's only like a few animal exhibits and Divine, it feels mean to call an animal overrated. Like, I'm not gonna look at a bird and be like, you're an overrated kind of duck. That's just rude. So, Divine, sorry. Not sorry. Weigh in on Divine in the comments. Which leads me to my most underrated creature, and that is the southern giant anteater. Let me know when you see her, because I promise she will be in the shot. Anybody see her yet? She's down there. Her name is Annie the Anteater, and she's absolutely adorable. And she likes to sleep in that spot right there, so keep an eye out. And sometimes she likes to walk back and forth throughout her enclosure. But I love Annie the Anteater. Not only is she gigantic, but she's actually very cute with a little boopable nose. And the reason a lot of people miss Annie the Anteater is because most people go to the right when walking in the park. And she's on the left-hand path of the Oasis. So she's on the path that most people go on when they're exiting the park. And at this point, they're hot, they're tired, they're ready to go. So they walk right past Annie the Anteater. But I promise she's adorable, she's fascinating, and she's a really cute little creature to say hi to. Working my way through Discovery Island, which is a pretty big land throughout Animal Kingdom. It's the land that expands around the Tree of Life for the most part, but I have kind of a controversial pick for the most underrated, and it's right here inside the Tree of Life. It's Tough to Be a Bug. It's Tough to Be a Bug is a 4D experience in a theater inside the Tree of Life, making it one of the coolest locations of any attraction. The queue is my favorite part because you get to weave within the roots of the Tree of Life and see different animals and carvings that you wouldn't get to see otherwise. The show is super cute, and it includes characters from A Bug's Life, and it's sitting down in air conditioning, which who wants to complain about that? The reason that I said this pick is controversial because a lot of people don't like this show. It's very dark, there's big spiders, there's big bugs, and hornets poke you. So don't say I didn't warn you, know your kids before going on this one. I understand a lot of people want to skip this one because they're scared of bugs or the dark, and it does scare a lot of kids. I'm not going to lie to you, every time I see it, a kid ends up screaming. But if you're not scared of the dark, you're not scared of kids, it's a great filler attraction in between some of those popular long lines. And the most overrated thing on Discovery Island, you already know, it's gotta be Pizzafari. Home to the puffy pizza of Animal Kingdom. The same ones you can get at Pizza Rizzo and Catalina Eddie's. Those round individual pizzas that come in a variety of flavors like cheese, pepperoni, and meat lovers. Overall, they are fine. Pretty much only kids and picky eaters like them. The crust tends to be burnt. They do not have a ton of flavor. They're just not great. But people continue to eat them because kids like pizza. It's something easy and familiar. But I'm telling you, friends, Disney's Animal Kingdom is an incredible place for food. So when you're here at Disney's Animal Kingdom, I encourage you to try some more unique things, whether it be things at Satuli Canteen and Pandora, whether it be some of the great snacks like Mr. Kamal's fries. There's some great snacks in Dinoland as well. But stay away from the puffy pizza, I beg of you. We've made it into Pandora, the world of Avatar, one of the most breathtaking lands in all of Walt Disney World. There's 2 attractions here, one of the best quick service restaurants across any park, as well as a bunch of snacks, and it's just a breathtakingly beautiful land themed to everyone's favorite film, James Cameron's Avatar. So what could possibly be overrated here? The answer probably won't surprise you because it's often talked about as one of the most overrated rides in all of Walt Disney World. Also, it's like not raining enough for me to stop since I'm like in progress, but it's raining just enough that I needed to put a hat on and I'm annoyed. Anyway, most overrated, Na'vi River Journey. Probably not surprising to a lot of you because a lot of you rank this attraction really low and say it's incredibly overrated. The reason people say that is because it's not a very long attraction and it's a relatively boring attraction, especially compared to the e-ticket attraction in this land, Flight of Passage. A lot of people complain that Na'vi River Journey has way too long of a line, which it often does have a very, very, very long line because of the way boarding works, the capacity of the attraction, and lightning lane. And people are upset that there's not more animatronics. But what people love about this attraction is one of the best, if not the best, audio animatronic Disney's ever built, the Shaman of Song. I personally like this attraction. I think it's very relaxing. I think it's a very beautiful attraction, but I wouldn't recommend waiting more than 30 minutes for it. So if you want to do Na'vi River Journey, booking this first when you have your Genie Plus is a great idea. Coming here early in the morning or waiting later until the evening when the wait times around this park drop overall. And speaking of the evening in Pandora, that's our next topic. Pandora at night is surely the most underrated thing about this land. The entire land glows with the light of the bioluminescent forest, and unfortunately a lot of people miss it because people tend to leave this park early. People, when they're park hopping, tend to start at Animal Kingdom because it's open the earliest, and then hop out to parks like Magic Kingdom or Epcot that have big nighttime entertainment. So a lot of people completely miss the fact that this land looks different, and I would even say better at night with things glowing with the bioluminescent light around you. I personally love Animal Kingdom in the evening. The vibe at this park is so relaxed, so chill. You can see the Tree of Life projections, but don't miss a stroll through Pandora at night. I promise if you haven't seen it before, you will be blown away. Jambo from Harambe, which is the village of Africa here in Animal Kingdom. One of my favorite lands ever because of the incredible detail. There's some great dining here. Of course, this is home to Kilimanjaro Safaris. So it's hard to pick something that's overrated, but I got very, very specific. And we're going to talk about one singular specific treat. And it's here at Tamutama Refreshments. Tamutama Refreshments is where you can get your Dole Whip at Disney's Animal Kingdom. They've got Dole Whip pineapple and a variety of different floats. They also have African coffee with Amarula liqueur, which is what I like to get here, a couple beers, etc. But today we're going to talk about one of my nemesises. Today we're going to be talking about the Dole Whips, which have just done too much, okay? I will say I'm proud of them for changing the Simba Sunset. The Simba Sunset used to have strawberry and coconut syrup. It was too much. The cast member just told me people didn't like it, so they changed it. So I'm proud of them for growing. But each of these Dole Whip floats is just, they've gone too far. They're way, way, way too sweet. You've got one with sour apple and pineapple. You've got pineapple and coconut rum and sour apple. Strawberry and coconut rum. That's too much. We've gone too far. People tend not to like these ones as much as just getting classic Dole Whip or a classic Dole Whip float because it's like very, very sickly sweet artificial flavoring. So I'm going to have to say overrated because I know they look cool, but we're going to give it the overrated nod. And the most underrated thing here in Africa is the entertainment. Now, as you can tell, it's a drizzly day today, but please enjoy some prior footage. There is some great streetmosphere here in Harambe, and a lot of it just recently came back since the closure. You've got the Kora Tinga Tinga, which is an incredible musician who plays this stringed instrument from Africa. You've got the Tamu Tamu drummers who keep the party going, and you have recently the Harambe acrobats have brought back, which do incredible stunts right before your eyes right here in the village of Harambe. One of my all-time favorite things to do in any park is grab a beer right here at the Dawa Bar and watch the entertainment in Harambe. So many people walk right past it or they don't make it a point to see it, but the beauty of this park is that you can luxuriate a little bit more, you can have a more laid-back day, and the streetmosphere really brings this land to life. Next up, we're talking about a land so small a lot of people don't even know it exists, and that's Rafiki's Planet Watch. This is the land where you literally have to take a train to get up there, where they've got different things like the affection section, petting zoo, they have the animation experience, and they have some other different exhibits with some smaller animals. And again, much like the Oasis, there's not a lot to choose from, so take all of this with a grain of salt. No shot I'm going to call petting a goat overrated, but what I will call overrated is the vet exhibit. Now hear me out, this has a big old asterisk on it. For years, I thought it was a ruse. I didn't think there were really any other animals on the vet exhibit because I'd been up there dozens and dozens of times and never once seen an animal had a procedure. I did one time get to see a sheep undergoing some tests, so then I was proven that it was not just an elaborate scheme. However, the vet exhibit is kind of flaunted if you look at things as a place where you're going to see them like operating on tigers. I don't think you're going to see that, and the chances are you're not going to see an animal up there. If you have seen an animal at the vet exhibit, please let us know down in the comments. But for that reason, it ends up being a little bit underwhelming compared to some of the other things you might see up there. Again, like petting a goat. Now, the most underrated thing at Rafiki's Planet Watch, I got to give it up to the animation experience. This actually started years ago over at MGM Studios, where Launch Bay is, when it was the animation experience there, and you would learn to draw a Disney character from a Disney artist. And a few years ago, they brought it over here to Rafiki's Planet Watch, but now, of course, the twist is that you are going to learn how to draw a famous Disney animal. And what's really interesting is that you learn about how they draw animals for Disney movies like The Lion King, like Moana, like Pocahontas, by using real animals many times here at Disney's Animal Kingdom. So they'll like show you footage of a real animal here that Disney has, and then they'll teach you how to draw it. Maybe you're drawing Bruce the shark, maybe you are drawing Simba or Scar, maybe you are drawing Pua the pig from Moana. Lots of different characters to draw. It's a really fun experience, about 25 minutes sitting down in the air conditioning. I will say it's a very small experience, so the classes in the middle of the day can fill up. If you really want to do it, they do offer lightning lane, but I've never had a problem just walking up a few minutes beforehand, and it's really a fun experience that I think especially older kids will enjoy. Greetings from Asia, another gorgeous land featuring one of the most popular and best attractions in all of Walt Disney World, Expedition Everest. Of course, that's not going to make the list on over or underrated, but I bet you know what did. Yeah, that's right. We're going to talk about Kali River Rapids, and yeah, I definitely think it's the most overrated thing, not only in this land, but all this park, maybe in all of Walt Disney World. Kali River Rapids, as the name would suggest, is a water river raft ride, say that 5 times fast, with a 35-inch height requirement where you could come off completely dry or you could come off soaking wet, which is one of my biggest complaints about it. There's no way to like not get wet because it's a circle, so you never know who's going to be hit. But here's the real problem with Kali River Rapids, is it's really, really short and there's no big thrilling drop or anything like that. Even the equivalent of this out in Disneyland at Disney California Adventure, Grizzly River Run, there's at least a really big drop, and it's a nice long attraction through beautiful scenery. So if you're into water rides, at least you're kind of getting your money's worth. But here at Kali River Rapids, the only redeeming quality is when you get up to the top and you get to see a beautiful view of Everest. Other than that, I've never been on it where people are like, that's it, because it's incredibly, incredibly short. Again, you can get soaking wet, and during the summer when it's really hot, this thing will get a 60-plus minute wait, and I assure you it's just not worth that. Now, maybe some of you are going to say it's my anti-water ride bias, and maybe that's true, but I can't think of anything more overrated in this land, can you? Moving into Asia's version of what I think is one of the most underrated thing in any park, and that are the animal trails. We are at Disney's Animal Kingdom after all, so you might as well look at some animals. There are 2 main animal trails here, one in Africa called Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail, and this one here in Asia, which is the Maharaja Jungle Trek. Here you will see incredible animals such as Komodo dragons, tigers, and bats. It's a lovely walking trail. Now keep in mind, these trails do tend to close earlier than the park, so make sure that you look in My Disney Experience or ask the cast member when they're going to close, because there'd be nothing sadder than thinking you can stay until park closes and go on these last thing at night when they actually close early. And as a little pro tip, if it's a little bit cooler or rainier, the animals tend to be a little bit more active than in the middle of the day, so first thing in the morning is a great time to go. Welcome, friends, to the final land of Disney's Animal Kingdom, Dinoland USA. Some of you are probably thinking this is the most overrated land in all of Disney World and they should tear it down and build something better. To you, I say, how dare you? I adore this land. Now, I do think there are some improvements that could be made, but there's actually a ton of hidden details and backstory to this land that a lot of people don't know, which I think is why people feel that way. But if you watch like my Trapped video or some other videos where I explain it, hopefully it'll help bring a little more light to this beautiful land. But enough about the land in general. What is the most overrated and underrated thing here? That's why we have arrived at Dinorama. The most overrated thing in this land is the big plot where Primeval Whirl used to live. I'll miss it forever. I may be the only one, and it's probably only because I did my college program there, so I have a strong emotional connection to it. But I do miss you, Primeval Whirl. You were more fun than you looked. You were a blast on a rainy day like today because those cars went even faster. And I'm just saying, no matter what, no matter whether you loved it or not, Primeval World's better than a big hole. So I hope they fill it soon. But that doesn't really count. I'll give you a real overrated, but it's over this way. This pains me a little bit to say because I adore the theme, I adore the vibe, but I'm gonna have to give Restaurantosaurus the overrated medal. Now here's the thing, much like Pizzafari, Restaurantosaurus is kind of your standard quick service food. This is where you're gonna get burgers, chicken nuggets, nothing real fancy. Also, can we all remember when it used to be McDonald's food, which was possibly better? Who's to say? Me. But Disney, as far as their quick service burgers go, they're pretty mediocre at most places. And so when you're at a park with such incredible food as Animal Kingdom, don't you want to eat something a little bit special? Now, points I will give Restaurantosaurus. The theming is incredible. The other thing I love about Restaurantosaurus is that everything from the plates and napkins, everything they give you is organic. So you can actually compost it right here when you get rid of all your items. And you'll notice how teeny tiny the trash can is because they really want you to recycle and compost everything. So big points for that, definitely on keeping with Animal Kingdom's mission. But the main thing is, this is where you're going to come for a cheeseburger, and there's much better burgers in this park. You can actually get a Kobe beef burger for around the same price over at the Yak and Yeti quick service restaurant. And of course, you can get my beloved cheeseburger pods in Pandora, which are much more unique eat. So again, nothing really against Restaurantosaurus except for the fact that it's boring generic food. So you may want to eat something a little bit more special. But never fear, while Dinoland's quick service restaurant gets overrated, its snacks are certainly worthy of the most underrated thing in Dinoland USA. There are 3 different snack stands here in Dinoland, and all of them feature a small but mighty menu of some of the tastiest eats throughout the entire park. To start, I'm in front of Dino Bite Snacks. This is one of my favorite spots because this is where you can get hand-scooped ice cream and that amazing hand-scooped cookie ice cream sandwich, where they take 2 fresh cookies and put your choice of ice cream right there in the middle. They usually have a specialty one as well that will change seasonally, although it has been the 50th one for quite some time. This is also home to the Shaken Jamaican ice cream cold brew float, which is one of the greatest things I've ever eaten in my entire life. Over in Dinorama, you've got the Dino Diner, which looks like a little trailer. That's where you can get like a Frito pie where it's got Fritos and chili and jalapenos and cheese on top. And then right down the way here, you've got Trilobites, where you can get those buffalo chicken chips. So there are some really fun and unique snacks that people often don't know are here in Dinoland, which is why those win our best underrated award for this land. Well, friends, that's a wrap on most overrated and underrated in Disney's Animal Kingdom. Did one of your favorites make the overrated list and you're mad? Did you learn something new? Let us know down in the comments. In the meantime, friends, it's been magical. Now go watch the Epcot version of this video. Bye!